And good evening. This is the place that AFC Bournemouth are just 90 minutes away from. It's Wembley Stadium, and tonight sees the quarterfinal draw of the FA Cup. It comes along in about 15 minutes time. We know nearly everyone that's in the draw, apart from two teams that are playing later on tonight. Who will it be? So these are the numbers that you need to be looking out for. We are ball number 1. Southampton beat Wolves 2-0 tonight, so they are ball number 4. Could be a local derby going on. Of course, you've got Man United at 2, Sheffield United 3, Everton at 6, Barnsley, Chelsea at 5, Man City at 7, Leicester at 8. It's the first time we have been in the quarterfinals for a long time. If you're not a subscriber to this channel, make sure you get involved. This is what we got coming up over the next few days. The post-Forest free-for-all hopefully will be a positive place to be. That's going to be tomorrow, straight after the game. And don't forget our evening with Ted McDougall as well. That is on Sunday night. So we are here. Tom Jordan is with me. Tom, how are you?
Yeah, good mate. Looking forward to it. See who we get.
Yeah, you know what? How many years has it been?
Was it 57 or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that, wasn't it? Yeah.
And
it's a long
weird,
time.
Like, you know, previously cup fever hasn't really gripped me, but it is this year somehow. Yet we can't even get to the grounds, and even if we were to make Wembley, we're not going to be getting there, whether it's in the semi-final or the final, most likely. So it's a bit of a bittersweet feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, bittersweet's the right word. I think it'll be frustrating, but you know, listen, we all know what it's about at the moment. So we just want to win the games, don't we, and go as far as we can. But it's weird that we've had to come out of the Premier League to have this cup run. But I guess that's part of it, isn't it? That we've been so kind of worried when we were in the Prem with Eddie about losing injuries and stuff. And I think with the managerial situation, Woodgate just went strong, didn't he, against Burnley, because he just wanted to win more games, and that was a really big win, and we thoroughly deserved it as well.
Yeah, it certainly was. There's loads of people watching at the moment, 254 across all the social networks. So thank you very much for joining us. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, we'd really appreciate it, and drop this video a like at the same time. So who are you guys fancying in the last 8, round 6, the quarterfinals? Now, there's a standout fixture that after this afternoon's game could happen, Tom, and we know who that's against.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they care about us anyway, Sam. Won't be a problem, would it?
Probably not.
It's one of them, isn't it? It'll be like, oh, I'd love to beat them, but then I would hate to lose to them. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, once you get unless Barnsley pull off a real shock later tonight, we're going to be the only team outside the Premier League. So whoever we get, we're going to be the underdogs. I think everyone would want Sheffield United at home. That's the ideal, just because they're bottom of the league, and you'd feel like that would be quite a leveler. A team at the bottom of the Prem against a team near the top of the Championship. But to be honest, I think I'd be content if we get a home draw and avoid the two teams from Manchester. I'd be content. I don't want Man United or Man City. Anyone else at home, I think I'll take it. I fancy us. What do you reckon?
Then, you know what? We've shown that we can do it away as well, because it was, as you alluded to, absolutely superb performance up at Turf Moor, wasn't it? And it was a scoreline that ultimately, I think, flattered Burnley, because we had so many chances. The only one that I really remember for them was that Jay Rodriguez effort that he should have scored. But when you think of the header that was cleared off the line, albeit it wasn't our player that headed it, and you think of Stanislas's shot, Phil Billings' shot, really, we could have won that game even more than what we did.
Yeah, definitely. And we had a couple more penalty shouts as well that on another day we could have got. But yeah, Burnley are a type of team that, listen, however they're playing, they put teams under pressure. They always have a spell in the game where they chuck balls in the box and they make it really difficult. It didn't feel like that. And you've got to give credit to our players. I thought the lads in front of the defence protected them so well. Pearson was brilliant when he on his debut. And I thought the back four as well. And I think Cameron Carter-Vickers probably, just going under the radar a little bit with his performances, because he looks like him and Cookie could have a good partnership. Nice clean sheet for Begovic as well, although we have heard it looks like he's been carrying an injury, doesn't it? We've heard that tonight. We've recalled Mark Travers, I see.
Yeah, that's right. And there's been a lot of news going around in AFC Bournemouth circles tonight, including the board looking as though they're honing in on their target. Now, David Wagner is amongst the names that has been mentioned, but the bookies' odds have been slashed. There's murmurings of his appointment, maybe in the next few days. Of course, we don't know yet. It's all conjecture, but it seems to be that way. Now, when we did the tier list, Tom, whereabouts did we put him?
I'm pretty sure I got Wagner, I think. I think we put him in It'll Do, I think. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think it depends how you look at it, doesn't it? I've been thinking recently, and would Bournemouth realistically be able to get a perfect manager who's never had a bad spell anywhere? That's impossible. Virtually, there's not a perfect manager, really, is there? And let's look at it. He come to England with a very average Huddersfield side and got him promoted out of nowhere. And then he done obviously an amazing job there. And when he went back to Germany, he started all right, and then it fell off the cliff a little bit for him. But listen, we want a manager that's got championship experience, and he took a team a lot less talented than we've got and got them promoted, and that's what we want. So it'd be hard to argue with it really. And I had a little look actually to see what his relationship was like with Phil Billing. And there's just loads of articles about him saying how Billing's the best 22-year-old he's ever seen when he was working with him. It seems like they had a really good relationship. So that's a good side as well. And it makes me think Billing's been good lately. I wonder if he thinks his boss is coming back. If we can see that sort of Phil Billing, that'll be good. But yeah, I think, listen, we've had a few rumours. I love Patrick Vieira. I love him as a person. But as a manager, I don't know what he's about. Wagner, I know what he did in the Championship, and that was impressive. So yeah, I'll take it. I don't know what you think, but I think it could be a shrewd appointment.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we had our tier list of people that we want and aren't realistic, and those that probably are realistic. I mean, names like Patrick Vieira were coming to the fore at some point, and Tom, for you was just like this, that cannot happen. But it seemed to be that he was, in the running. John Terry, yesterday it was released by some journalist that he wasn't anymore. You don't look as though you're overly gutted there, Tom.
No, I mean, listen, I understood why, a bit like I said with Vieira, like I understand, Terry was a leader on the pitch, wasn't he? But I'm sorry, we're in a position now where we need someone with experience who's going to try and get us out of this league. John Terry's never managed. I mentioned earlier that you can't find a manager that hasn't had a bad spell somewhere. The only one you could is Terry, because he never managed. I just think it's not the right time to take that sort of gamble. And it looks like the board have thought the same thing. And I get that. And so I'm not gutted about John Terry. I'm glad, because there would have been a lot of memes off that tier list if he had got it, wouldn't there? I made my feelings clear on that. But Wagner, yeah, I'm happy with it. I think it was either going down that sort of route or a Pearson route, who similarly had experience at the level, but is a bit more old school. And it looks like, by the murmurings we've heard, the board want a bit more of a manager of a bit more probably longevity rather than kind of short term. And Wagner kind of ticks both boxes, doesn't he? Where he's got the experience in the Championship for short term, but he's not a manager that's just going to use us as a stepping stone and move on or go somewhere. So yeah, I think it does make sense, and that's how it's looking. And if that's the case, I'll get behind him. He seems like a good character, and someone that hopefully will get the best out of the group.
So here's how it's going to work tonight. The draw is happening in about 4 or 5 minutes' time. Now, if you're online and you're thinking of watching it on BBC iPlayer, did a little test earlier comparing live BBC One with BBC iPlayer through either an app or online. The delay is 1 minute 25 seconds. Now, the delay from us reaching you on YouTube is 10 seconds. So what you're listening to now, I said 10 seconds ago. So this is the place where you'll hear it first, unless you're tuned in to your TV. And there's a lot of people here, Tom, saying they'd like to get Sheffield United. There are some people saying Saints. Robin is saying Southampton or Chelsea. A lot of people with the inevitable, we all know that we're going to get Man City anyway. Do we know who's even picking the balls out of the hat this evening?
I ain't got a clue, actually, to be fair. I thought you might have got the nod, to be fair.
No, I'm going to look very shortly and see. But Jeff Hayden's saying fear no one. But I think I'd be fearing Man City if we were to draw them based on their form at the moment. They look unstoppable. And I think the Premier League Championship this year has got their name written all over it, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think the problem with getting a team like City is I watched them against Swansea the other night. And Swansea done okay, to be fair to them. But Pep likes to always put a strong team out anyway. He always likes the Carabao Cup, tries to win that, always goes for the FA Cup. But his squad's so good. so they can rest players, and the players they're bringing in are unbelievable. We saw that when we played them in the Carabao Cup. But yeah, I agree with what Jeff said. Once you're in the quarterfinals, you can't expect an easy game. So yeah, I think a home draw, like I say, a home draw is what I want, and I just don't want either of the Manchester. If you offer me it now, I'd take an Everton or a Leicester at home, because stranger things have happened. Ideally, yes, Sheffield United. Just don't want either of the Manchester clubs. I think Ollie will be really keen to get a trophy as well. So, yeah, I think Everton, Southampton, Leicester, or Sheffield United at home. But then, having said that, Barnsley might go and win later. Who knows?
Yeah, and by that time, we'll obviously have our new manager in place. And it's probably I say a little bit harsh on Woodgate, but he's had his remit so far and he's fulfilled it. And what I've seen from him, Tom, I've been really impressed by his persona in front of the camera. Seems to talk sense, not many cliches. He's got a very raw learnedness that I really like. And I'm sure the players respect that as well. And I'm hoping that whoever comes in, if it is Wagner, Jeff just said, how do you pronounce it? Really don't know at this stage. If it is him, hopefully Woodgate can somehow be retained.
Yeah, I think he will be. I think so, definitely. I think if you're a new manager, I appreciate people say, you've got your own people you want to bring in. But equally, one, you don't want to mix everything up halfway through a season. And also, if you've had someone that's come in and built the confidence back up, you want to keep them around the place, definitely. You don't want to go in there isolated. So, yeah, I mean, Woodgate, we saw, didn't we? I know a lot of people mentioned it. If you remember when Duncan Ferguson went in at Everton, and you thought, he's done enough here to get the job. And then Ancelotti was brought in, but he was keeping Duncan Ferguson around. And I think hopefully it'll be a similar thing. And yeah, Woodgate's done himself no harm at all. I think he will come in and probably stay with the group and be a good coach for us. And then he's probably put himself in the hat for kind of lower jobs now that people will look at him. But I agree with you. I think he's been really good on the camera. I saw a few Middlesbrough fans after one of his press conferences of us saying that, there he is. He's back again. They always liked him in the interviews and that. He always was well human and stuff. But he's certainly got the best out of the group, hasn't he? He's got them playing for him, and he seems like that sort of manager that would demand respect as well. I really hope we keep hold of him, definitely.
So, the draw is going to be very, very shortly. It's 7:44. We're completely live. Thank you to all the 410 people that are with us at the moment. Remember to like and subscribe. Now, Gary Lineker's looking to camera, and I've got the laptop, I've got the camera right in front of me. The TV is there, and they are showing the graphic, Tom. So that means it looks as though it is going to be time for that draw very, very shortly. Are you looking forward to this?
Man City away, we all know it. No, listen, let's see what happens. Like I say, it'll be an amazing opportunity anyway. Quarterfinals, it's one game. It's one game. We've beaten virtually everyone, haven't we? Apart from Man City, in the last few years. So anything can happen over 90 minutes. So yeah, let's see. It's one football match away. You don't need a big of a team talk, do you? One football match away from Wembley.
So I can tell you that tonight, Karen Carney is the person that is going to be drawing out the home and away balls. Quite often they used to do two, but obviously in COVID times, you can't be right next to each other. So she's got the velvet bag. She's going to pour them in very, very shortly. I'm feeling like we need some kind of tension music or something. But in the meantime, Tom, we've just got the standard background track.
Come on, let's get me going. It's fine.
Yeah, that's really getting me going,
Karen.
isn't it? But yeah, she's having a bit of a chat with the presenter. This is live on BT Sport and BBC at the moment. Of course, Karen Carney is an FA Cup winner herself in the Women's FA Cup, so she knows what it's like to play at Wembley, as do some of our players, of course. And you know what, mate? I've got to say, the FA Cup, is the shine taken off it slightly by the fact that, the semi-finals are at Wembley? I mean, I'd be saying that if we weren't in this position, probably, yeah. But the fact is, being 90 minutes away, you're thinking, actually, it's a great thing. But in these circumstances, it seems a bit weird, given the fact that you've got this massive stadium and, you might as well play at some small training ground for the amount of people that you can actually have in the ground.
Yeah, it's difficult, but I think it's nice for, especially over the last few years, when you see kind of smaller clubs or whatever get to the semi-final. And I mean, the chance of getting to the final is so obscure, but it still gives them that opportunity to go to Wembley. I know a certain John Bailey will be a bit worried if we get there and someone nicks a goal. Still the only player in need to get the goal there. But yeah, I mean, like I just mentioned, you don't need a team talk, do you? You just say, lads, we're 90 minutes away from Wembley. I mean, what an opportunity for some of them. Go on, are we nearly there?
This is it, mate. This is it. Right. So Karen Carney is standing by, and she's putting her hand is in the little plastic tub, and she's picking out a ball. And the first team that she's picking out is number 6, which is it's Everton.
Nah,
who's it going to be?
Way.
Would you fancy Everton away?
No.
I'm hoping not. It's number 7. They're playing Man City. That's good, mate.
Yes.
Man City are out of the way. Man City are out of the way, which is a good thing. Everton versus Manchester City there. That's the first one. Right, who have we got next? It's number 1. We're at home, mate. We are at home. We're at home. Here we go. This is it. This is it. Who have we got? Who have we got? Please, please, please. It is Southampton!
Oh, no way.
Tasty! Tasty. Remember, it's not a rivalry. It's not a rivalry.
It would be if we win, mate, I tell you.
We're going to wrap it up. Of course, Leicester are at home. And the next one, it's Leicester. And they are at home to Manchester United. That'll be it. You know what? All tasty games. I'll tell you what. South Coast Derby, that'll be live on the BBC, surely, won't it? You'd think so, anyway. So.
Could have been a lot worse, couldn't it?
And finally, it is Barnsley or Chelsea, and they, of course, are going to be facing Sheffield United.
Massive chance of Barnsley tonight, going into that game, thinking if we win this, we've got do you know what I mean, if you're Barnsley? But listen, apart from Sheffield United at home, it was the next best one on footballing terms, I think. You know, definitely. So, yeah, I'll tell you what.
There you go,
We've got a chance here. We've got a chance, mate.
So, just to go through that quarterfinal draw then. So, it's Everton at home to Manchester City, Bournemouth versus Southampton, you know it, Leicester City versus Manchester United, and Barnsley or Chelsea that are playing tonight on BBC One at home to Sheffield United. The ties are being played on the 20th to the 21st of March. Bournemouth v Saints, mate. That could be quite tasty. And like you say, I think it's probably a fixture that both of us will be looking at thinking that was the one that we'd have probably rather had. It's two teams that probably think we got a good chance here.
Yeah, I think every team in the draw, like we said, we're assuming that Chelsea are going through, obviously. Everyone in the draw would want Bournemouth. They'd all want Bournemouth because we're the only Championship team left if Chelsea beat Barnsley later. So, yeah, Southampton to take it. But I think Bournemouth, you know, they would have been my second pick behind Sheffield United. So you could have had 7 teams. They'd have been my second. Yeah, I'll take that, definitely. And like I said to you, home draw. I think home is such a shame, innit? Imagine if us fans could be in there. Bournemouth, Southampton, full house at Dean Court in the quarterfinal of the FA Cup. Come on, Boris, sort it out just for a day.
You know, remember, it's not a rivalry, and they'll tell us that time and time again. But it is a derby. Geographically, it is a derby. So, you know what? Really interested to chat to a few Saints people that I usually chat to. Freddie from The Ugly Inside, and there's a number of people that I'm sure we'll be reconvening with online. But there you go, Bournemouth are playing Southampton. And of course, as it's the quarterfinal, everyone will be televised. And, you know, with those matches that were being played, I think, you know, that's probably a BBC primetime fixture there, Tom.
It's probably the best one, isn't it? I mean, especially with all the others are Premier League games anyway. You know, Everton City looks like a decent game as well. But yeah, that's got to be the main one, I think. They'll be thinking they can get to semi-final now, but I'll back us at home. Definitely back us at home. Yeah, it'd be a really good opportunity for us. Local lad in Sam Surridge leading the line. Shane Long won't be able to play, so that'll be a good opportunity for him. And yeah, I'm going for it early, mate. Sam Surridge winner. We're going to the semis.
Very good point. So Shane Long, of course, he featured in round 3 for Southampton, I think. Yeah. And but obviously he couldn't get picked in the last one. So yeah, of course, I forgot about that. But obviously we couldn't have him against Burnley. But yeah, you know, Sam Surridge, I've got to say, why not? He did incredibly well at Turf Moor. So a lot of comments coming in. I thought we'd draw Southampton, said Robin. Jeff Hayward said we can win. Lisa, good evening. Come on, you cherries. What a game. So happy. Dan said the scum relegated us, remember. Nice to see Southampton getting to the semi-final easily, said Jamie. Good one. Alfonso said, come on, Bournemouth. K Sarah, we're going to Wembley, said Carl. And what else have we got? Yeah, so many comments coming in. And you know what? It is just such a shame, mate, isn't it? Such a shame that we're not there.
Oh, that would be a cracker, wouldn't it? Quarterfinal of the FA Cup against Southampton. Yeah, I would have loved that. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, well, I mean, it'd be easy for us to get some sort of preview on the game. I mean, they're all the Southampton fans around the area anyway, aren't they? So
yeah.
I know most mates I know support Southampton. So yeah, it'd be easy, mate. But yeah, no, it's a good one, isn't it? It's a weird one. It's a bit of banter and stuff. But like you say, geographically, it's a bit of a derby. It does give it a little bit more, they can say what they want. It does give a little bit of an edge to the game, doesn't it? As I say, they can say what they want. I've been to Southampton to watch Bournemouth, and you can tell them Southampton fans, there's a bit of an edge. There is a bit of an edge when they play us. They know it. The fans are definitely louder. Southampton ain't that loud normally. Do you know what I mean? There's definitely an edge. So, yeah, really, really good fixture. And I think it's a top championship club against a kind of middle diddle Premier League club. Stranger things have happened, mate.
Well, that's it. Their form, they started off really well. They hit a bit of a dip. I mean, in the FA Cup, of course, they've been like very good and
played well tonight.
Whether they're looking for top 10, I expect that's what Ralph would want. Whether they'll get there or not, I'm not too sure. But I've got to say, out of the teams that there are there, it was either them, Sheffield United, or maybe Barnsley if they managed to beat Chelsea. But other than that, I wouldn't have really fancied it. Maybe Everton, but of course, they're going through a really good spell. They would be Josh Kingless, of course, but yeah, it's going to be such an interesting one. And our excitement, I think, is based on the fact that we've beaten before and we can beat them again. And it's the FA Cup, there's a bit of added spice. There'll be players in the dressing room that are still smarting and hurting from that last one, not least Sam Surridge himself, who thought it equalised in the last minute during Project Restart, only for VAR to rule it out. So there's people with a lot of points to prove, I'm absolutely certain. And, well, I mean, it's our best chance that, that we've got really, isn't it? So.
I'm calling it now, Sam. We've got Asmir Begovic at ex-Portsmouth. He'll be in goal. He'll save the winning penalty in a penalty shootout. We'll go to the semi-final against Barnsley because they randomly beat Chelsea tonight and then knocked out Sheffield United. We'll walk over Barnsley like we did in the league and then nick a 1-0 win over City in the final.
Oh, God. If we could even claim this was work, just be able to go to Wembley and stand outside and
Should we give it a go?
Do some live stuff outside the ground. I think it'd probably be against the travel restrictions. But anyway, we'll see at what point we're at. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to compose ourselves and we're going to come back and chat some more. In the meantime, not sure if you've done it yet, but there is a Super 6 this weekend. And are Bournemouth one of the games, Tom? No, they're not this weekend. No. Make sure you do your Super 6. But what we're going to do is cross to Tiggs and Tony Funnell now. They are standing by and we're going to hear what they've got to say. Love to see what Tony's predictions are and are they in the top 10? Tiggs, it's over to you.
Thank you, Sam, for that. I did not expect that. Let me bring in Tony Funnell as well. Tony Funnell, the magic of the FA Cup, eh?
That's the FA Cup.
Yeah. Who knew? Who knew? Right, we better get cracking because I know that Sam's got us on the clock tonight. So we'll have a little look at our league first. Let's have a little look here. So Tony Funnell, there you are. Once again, you're still in 8th.
Well, no, I've gone up one place.
Oh, because you were 9th last time.
I was 9th, yeah.
Yeah, so you're in there. You are in 8th. We go up a little bit further. We got Alan Rocket, Naomi Jenkins, Mark Cole, Tyler Gregory Wareham, Jamie Dawson, and Zachariah Modridge, and Brian Baxter. That sneaky guy. He's been sneaking up there, hasn't he? He's managed to find his way to the top there. What do you think about that, Tony?
Yeah, it's very close. It's very close, isn't it?
It is very close. How did you get on last week, Tony? Tell the people at home. How did you think you got on?
Yeah, how did I get on? I got 11 points.
11 points. That's a very respectable amount, really, Tony, when you look at what other people have been getting. I've been getting about 3 points. Actually, not even that, 2 the other week, which is pretty bad indeed. Okay. Are you ready to go with predictions?
Yes, let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. Ah, and if by magic, there it is. So the first game we've got, Tony, today is we've got Crystal Palace against Burnley.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Crystal Palace. A home win, 2-1.
2-1, Tony. You're a regular viewer, you'll know that. We've got Norwich against Stoke in the Championship.
Yeah, I think Norwich are due a result. And we're going 2-1 again.
2-1 to the Norwich. 2-1, Tony. We're going down here. We've got Derby against Middlesbrough.
Yeah, I'm going away win for Middlesbrough, 1-0.
1-0 to the Borough. And then over here, we've got Bristol City against Watford.
Yeah, I'm going for Watford, 2-0 victory.
Cool, okay. We've got Sheffield Wednesday against Swansea.
Away win for Swansea, 2-1.
Oh, another 2-1, Tony. And to round us off, Tony, because obviously Bournemouth are playing at a different time, we've got Cardiff against Coventry. What do you think might happen here?
Home win for Cardiff, 1-0.
Home win for Cardiff, 1-0. And then we've got to do this bit down here. Golden goal.
I'm going for 6 minutes.
6 minutes. We're going to go head-to-head with Jeff. We submit our entry. And we are done and dusted on that one. Tony Funnell, are you feeling good about it this week?
I feel good every week, whether I get the results or not.
You do?
Yeah, I always feel confident.
Well, I feel confident for you too. I think you're doing great guns. And you've come from quite a distance on that league as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm just hanging in at the moment. I've said it all the time. You need to get 2 or 3 5-pointers, don't you?
Yeah. And if any of you out there are watching and you're not part of our Super 6 League, it's not too late to get involved. Come in just for the fun, even. Come and join in. There might be some prizes at the end of the season also. Right. From me and Tony then, it's...
Adios.
Adios. See you later.
Cheers, Tony. Brilliant stuff. Nice to hear from the guys there. And if you haven't done your Super 6, make sure you do that now. So I'm going to bring Tom back in with me. Tom, then, have you calmed down? Have you thought about it? Have you thought about what formations we're going to play? Are you going to give me a prediction? Come on, mate.
Not yet, mate. I mean, what, 8-0, something like that. They do concede a few now and again. But no, I fired off a tweet about it. It's not a derby. You know, let's get them wound up early doors. But I think they'll be more nervous than we are. They'll know they've got to beat Bournemouth. You know what I mean? To get to a semi-final, and we'll still be big underdogs. But yeah, I think we'll believe we can do it. As you said, we've beaten them not so long ago. We've got players in there that will really want it. As I mentioned, you know, Asmir Begovic and goal, ex-Pompey. Do you know what I mean? There'll be some players that want it in there. And like I say, we don't know who the manager's going to be yet and when they're going to come in, but it's not going to be far off. They wouldn't have been in long, I wouldn't have thought. They'll really fancy, won't they? They'll think, blimey heck, I'll just come in as manager of a new club and I'm one game away from Wembley. Yeah, I think it's from Southampton, you'd say that's a potential banana skin, wouldn't you? So we got a chance, mate. I certainly would have taken it.
Do you think there's any danger of... I'm not sure if you know what I'm going to say, but obviously some teams, when they have got an FA Cup run, take their focus off the league a little bit. And obviously, that's our priority. We don't need to go up, but there is an urgency to go up. Hence, Jason Tindall was relieved of his duties. Is there a danger of that this time round?
I don't think so. I know what you're saying. That's happened a lot with teams, but it tends to be teams that are kind of mid-table or maybe pushing for like the European spots of the Premier League, and then they kind of fall off the cliff because they're focusing on the FA Cup. FA Cup's a nice distraction. It's done well for us this season. It's kicked us on a bit of momentum and things like that. But we all know what the priority is. As much as we'd all love to beat Southampton and go to Wembley, you know, unfortunately, in the grander scheme of things, I'll take a defeat now if it means guaranteed promotion. So we all know what it is really and what our goal is. But yeah, so it's a great opportunity. And like I keep saying, it's 90 minutes away from Wembley. You don't need any more motivation. And we've got a good group in there. And I think you saw against Burnley that we've got quite a tough group, harder to beat. You know, Burnley, the amount of times we had, you know, in the Premier League where they seem to just outmuscle us, and that just never seemed the case the other night. And I feel like we've got a little bit more steel in there. You know, you saw Lerma, Pearson and Billing as a midfield three, for example, in that Burnley game. And you think, that ain't a team that's going to get bullied against anyone that's in the Premier League. And I looked at Southampton tonight. They went strong. They've got good players, but they've got weaknesses as well. They're not, you know, you've got to keep people like Danny Ings quiet, who we know enough about. But they can be got at. And, yeah, I fancy us.
Yeah. Really great to have a look through some of the comments there. Yeah, so it's Saints that we've got at home. It's going to be live on either BT or BBC. So hopefully BBC, so as many people can be seeing what I suppose is going to be called an upset, isn't it? But it wouldn't necessarily feel like that because I don't think we're a million miles away from them. Obviously, we beat them on their own patch last season when there were fans in the stadium. They did the reverse at Dean Court. Well, they beat us 2-0. And yeah, you know, there's going to be some scores to settle. But in terms of the style of football, Saints have been impressive this year, and when we're on it, we can be as well. So for the neutral Tom, it could actually be a really entertaining game of football.
Yeah, I think it could be. I think, Ralph has to. He's done. I didn't even bother pronouncing the surname. Man, I'm not very good at it. We'll call him Ralph. Ralph's he's done a good job there, hasn't he? After they lost their first 9-0 against Leicester last season, that he looked like he could go. They stuck with him. Credit to them, and he has gotten playing good football. And they're a good team, and they got some good players all over the pitch. They're a hard working bunch. But like you say, we're not a million miles away, and there's a lot of good players on the pitch, and it will be a good game. And I think we all would have been really confident, say, if we got Sheffield United. But would it be an absolute shock if Sheffield United nicked a win against Southampton, for example? No. And, you look at it like that. It wouldn't be, don't get me wrong, we're going to be underdogs, but I don't think it would be a massive shock. I actually think us at home to Southampton or us away at Burnley, I'd probably expect us to beat Southampton at home more than I would away at Burnley. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Just, and if you looked on previous seasons, I would have thought that would stack up in terms of statistics. We've always had quite tight games with Southampton, whereas Burnley, we've been beaten comfortably quite a few times. So, when we won away at Burnley, I thought anyone at home, apart from the two big boys, we got a chance. So, I'm looking forward to it. So when did you say it's getting played?
It's going to be the 20th or 21st. It's going to be that weekend. And as Heather says, Tom, watch along, unbeaten, 3 out of 3. I suppose we're doing one of them again, are we?
Absolutely. For this game, we definitely are. Yeah, Southampton won't be happy with that omen. But it's a good point. It's going to be over a month away, and that'll be key as well to see what kind of runs the teams are on at the time. I think we went into that Burnley game off the back of a win after going for a bad patch, and I certainly felt you saw that when we went to Burnley. There was a bit more of a spring in their step, and we don't know what could happen, do we? Southampton could be on a bad run, and Danny Ings just got another injury. You don't know how we're going to be going into this game. So it'll be interesting to see how both teams are faring as we go into it. But watch along unbeaten. So it's not in doubt, I don't think. In the bag.
So here's what's coming up on Back of the Net, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. The opposition preview show comes tomorrow. Saturday's match is live on Sky Sport. So at 2:30, we're going to have a free-for-all for an hour or so for some raw opinion. Tom's got a player rating show with Dan, a.k.a. Giron, that evening. Ted McDougall, the second part of his interview, we recorded the first bit, and we were only up to Man United. And so there's a long way to go with his career. Also, his thoughts on AFC Bournemouth now. And he doesn't hold back with his opinions. We haven't actually recorded it yet, but we've had a few off air. So if we get that and just put it to what's on air, my God, it could be an explosive one. Really looking forward to that. And then we've got the Second Look pod, which is a more considered view of the match that we've got at the weekend. And Tom, been saying on previous shows, and I said on Kirk's channel the other day that, Birmingham, the win over them was a little bit laboured. I mean, we did what we had to do. Then we played a Burnley side that was poor. Woodgate is this will be an indication of how much an effect he's had, because Forest, they've been rejuvenated. I think 13 points out of their last 18. They're looking like they've turned a corner under Houghton, and it's going to be a tough old match, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think, I agree with exactly what you said. Birmingham, I said it at the time, no disrespect to them, but it was the best fixture we could have had. We've had such a good record against them over the years. And then, like I say, Burnley, cup game, one-off game, blah, blah, blah. But Forest have turned a corner, there's no doubt about that. I think they've lost 2 in their last 12 or something, really good run. And they've got some good players. I mean, we know about a few of them, don't we? And yeah, they're a good side, Forest. And I've always rated Chris Houghton. He was someone that, at the start of the season, if we didn't go down the Tindall route, he was someone I thought I fancy him, because I just think he always does a good job. He kind of goes under the radar, Chris Houghton, but he normally does a decent job wherever he goes, I think, and he speaks well, etc., etc. And yeah, he's gotten playing, and that'll be, like you say, that'll be a real indicator of how the boys have turned and how Woodgate's managed to get their confidence going again. So this could be a big test. Some interesting be the team news as well, because we've obviously, that cup game, we had a few players come in that we didn't expect to potentially perform as well as they did. I mean, how's he going to play Lewis Cook, Jefferson Lerma, Ben Pearson, Phil Bidden and Jack Wilshere? I mean, he's not going to be able to. But yeah, it'd be interesting. Obviously, we're hearing about Knox to Begovic and Stacey, so that'll be interesting to see what happens there. Will he bring Shane Long back in? So there's some good problems for Woodgate, but we're in a really good place right now. So if we can just bounce, if we can get another win, it'll be a hell of a week after a sticky period, won't it?
Yeah, it really will. And maybe it'll be Wagner that's going to be the man that's going to take us into that. So just for those who who weren't here at the start of the show, maybe you could just repeat your thoughts on who seems to be the front runner, maybe a shoe-in for the job, looking likely as it stands. Odds are being slashed. We know certain people that have discounted themselves from the job, but if he was to get it, obviously you're going to throw your weight behind the guy, Tom. But, what do you think he could bring to us?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know a great deal about him apart from his time at Huddersfield, obviously. But, it speaks for themselves, really. He came over here and took a pretty average Huddersfield side, certainly not as talented as the group we've got, and got them promoted. It was a real shock. He made them really hard to beat, took them up, and I thought they had some really good performances in that Premier League. I remember him spanking us at one point.
That was the 3:30 coach in the morning.
Yes.
Horrible.
And then he went over to Germany, started okay at Schalke, but Schalke are in a really bad place at the moment anyway. And it fell off a bit, and he lost his job. But to a degree, I take it with a pinch of salt how he's done in Germany lately. I think we need a manager to come in who's been there and done it in the Championship, and he's done that. So I'd welcome him with open arms. Yes, I was kind of dreaming of a bit of Vieira when I saw that he looked like he was interested, but that was more just because my younger self and how much I love the guy. But as a manager, I think Wagner stands up better than Vieira, certainly. Well, definitely in the Championship because Vieira hasn't managed in it. So I think we'll get around and bring in a few of his own guys maybe, but got a good relationship with Phil Billing, it sounds like. And I always liked him. As Huddersfield manager. I thought he'd come across charismatic and come across really well in interviews, quite a likeable guy. And I thought he got on playing and made him quite hard to beat as well. So, it remains to be seen what he gets out of the group. But you can't really look at the appointment and say that we've panicked or we've done it a bit. That things were said with Tindall, weren't they, a bit safe and things like that. You can't really say that. It looks like we've had a lot of interest in the job, and they've picked someone who on the credentials of their Championship is there. It's there in black and white. So you can't argue with the appointment if it goes that way. So I'm quietly confident with the appointment. I mean, to be honest, I think whoever they brought in, if you can just get this group going again, as we've seen recently with Woodgate, they're bloody good players. So it just needs it just needs little tweaks. It doesn't need nothing drastic. Jason Tindall, for all his downfalls, we're never at the top 6. So it shows just a little bit of tweaking. But we just got to get a gap on that 7th spot now. That's the key because second's getting a little bit further away, aren't they?
And just some closing words on JT, the original JT, Jason Tindall, who was on TalkSport in an interview with Alex Crook only a couple of days ago. Obviously, he was disappointed with being relieved of his position. Obviously feel really sorry for him. It wasn't the way that he wanted to go. He almost came across like he was selling himself by saying, well, the team wasn't ever outside the top 6 for the most of it. We were in the top 4 and etc. We had a lot of things to deal with. How did you feel after seeing what he said on the radio there?
I think like I did when he got relieved of his duties, sadness, because I love Jason. He's been here over 20 years. I mean, I'm 29. I don't really remember the football club before Jason Tindall. So, it was sadness, and I was really gutted it didn't work out for him. And I think we all know, if we went deep down into it, as much as I would have loved us to have stuck with him and him to have turned it round, I think we know, looking at it in black and white terms, we were never outside the top 6, agree. And he believes he could have turned it round, fair play to him. But we saw the way it was going. We didn't look good. We were losing football matches to teams that we shouldn't be losing. And we didn't look like we didn't know where the next win was going to come from. It was tough. And Jason knows that. But, I think the players got to take a lot of responsibility, because the start of the season, we done all right. And they should have, whether Jason got the most out of them, it obviously remains to be seen. Doesn't look that way. But they should have done more for him, in my opinion, because he'd done a lot for this football club. But I wish him all the best. And I really believe if he keeps himself out there and he still wants to do it, we don't know. It's obviously a bit raw for him, but he could go to a football league club, I think, and do quite a good job. I think he come across better than we've spoke about it before, Sam. We weren't really sure what he'd be like in the media and things like that. I thought he'd come across really well. You've got to appreciate as well, it would have been very difficult for him taking over a club that he loves, and he's got no fans. I mean, it was a really odd time. And I'm not saying that means, that doesn't take away from results and things like that. I'm just saying that would have been quite frustrating for him. But he didn't really get an opportunity to build a proper connection with the fans, which I think he was trying to do. So I really hope he moves on from this and gets a job and does well, because he's a legend at this football club and he always will be. And I really hope that one day that us as fans can properly thank him, because that was what got to me. I really wish that in them kind of last few games, us fans could have been there and really showed support on the sideline and said, yeah, we're not happy with what we're seeing, but we're here for you, Jace. And so it's a sad way to go, but I think he comes across as quite a tough guy, and I think he'll bounce back. And he'd have learned a lot under Eddie and for all his coaching. So, yeah, I really hope he does well. And certainly know, whether you wanted him to go or not, I think deep down, 99% of Bournemouth fans, really appreciate what Jace has done for the football club.
Of course, you went to the Huddersfield and Wycombe matches, so you were there to watch JT on the touchline. But for people like me and many others, we'll be returning to a completely different football club. And it's going to be weird to see, that there's no Eddie on the bench, there's no JT on the bench. It's going to feel very strange. JT, of course, he said he felt a little bit surprised about getting a phone call, but I think it's worth noting the previous issue when JT, it turned out that he didn't call Andrew Sermon when Sermon was let go from the club, albeit not under JT's regime, just before he took over. But it was explained a few days later and things were all settled. I think for Jason Tindall, it's probably still a little bit raw, and it's natural to use that adjective, I think, when you feel hard done by. It's going to be a really interesting time under an external manager, the first one I can remember in a long, long time, and we'll see how it all pans out. But it all looks like it's going to be a David Wagner. We will see what happens. Remember to follow AFC Bournemouth on Twitter, because obviously that's where you'll hear it first, and we'll be doing a reaction show here on Twitter. Tom, it has been an absolute pleasure. Southampton in the quarterfinals. It's the archetypal cup match, isn't it?
Oh, I can't wait, mate. Yeah, tell you what, these watch-alongs, we're 100% record. Then we get a cup draw, and we get Southampton at home. We done the, you and I done the deadline day, and we were saying, we just need to get Shane Long over the line. Got it over the line. It's all positive vibes, man. I'm telling you, Southampton should be quaking the boots. We're coming for you. It's not a derby, but it is. Come on.
Come on. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe as well, because there's plenty of content coming your way. And like I put on screen, if you want to support what we do by the way of a coffee, that's where you need to go, afcbpodcast.com/coffee. We'd really love some new faces on the free-for-all on Saturday. All it is just me and a bunch of AFC Bournemouth fans chatting. We don't have to be overly technical with you. So whether you're male, female, young, old, whether you watch the game, you listen to the game, you didn't watch it at all, or you're even an opposition fan, come on, because we would absolutely love to hear from you and grow this AFC Bournemouth community. Tom, once again, thank you very much, mate.
Cheers, mate. I was just about to say, actually, that free-for-all after the Southampton game, you've got to do one now. You've got to do one, because that could be heated.
That will be absolutely tasty.
After a 3-0 win.
Yeah,
bring it on.
What a thought. I might as well just spend all day doing it. Nice one. Cheers, guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Up the cherries.
Up cherries.